We are Christians. Join our podcast to listen. We are Christians.
ChristYinz. Hey, it's Mother's Day Sunday, all around the world, not just in Pittsburgh. So this is what, episode 5? 6. 5, 6. 6? Episode 6. That's where we're at already. This is awesome. Hey, so the title, Mother's Day, women are amazing. Christian women, good women, are amazing. Everyone else, it's a work in progress. You're amazing also.
Right.
And we hope that you become a great individual. So Mother's Day.
Yep.
So, by now, it's your boy Glenny B. And
Shout out to all the mothers. Shout out.
Yeah.
Mothers, sisters, grandmothers, all the daddies out there raising kids too.
Yeah, you got to throw them in, but it's
Yeah,
Mother's Day,
happy
so
Mother's Day.
we're focused.
Yeah.
We can look. We can't go back and forth like
Yeah.
that because look, there's a Mother's Day,
Yeah.
and there's a Father's Day. So Mother's Day's for the women, and
Yeah.
Father's Day is for the men.
Well, you know how
so for the father, I get it. So yeah,
You know, on Father's Day, people will be like, shout out to all the women out there doing the daddy's job.
right, and then fathers will say the same thing on Mother's
Right.
Day, like,
So
hey,
I had
shout
to
out to
throw
all
it
the
in there.
single fathers. No, listen, there's 2 separate days for this, bruh. There's 2 separate days. Let's not get it
Let's go.
twisted. Enjoy your day on your day, and give props and clout. Give all your stuff to the people on that day. So this is where we're at.
Period.
So hey,
Women are amazing.
Women are amazing. Women are amazing. So there's over 8 billion people on this planet now. We passed the 8 billion mark, I think, at the end of last year in 2022 U.S. Census report. And guess what? They were all born from a woman. Fact check that. Jesus. That's 100% true.
It's a fact.
8 billion people on the planet that were all born from a woman. Hey, who's the greatest woman in history?
Oh my gosh, that's debatable. Probably it's either the mother of Jesus.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Is it?
Mother Jesus.
What about Eve?
Well, listen.
What about Eve?
Hold on.
What about Eve?
People are already like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
what about so and so?
What
Listen,
about? I know.
feel
I'm just
like,
saying
well,
it for them.
Well, I get it. Well, hey, Jesus.
Yeah.
Without Jesus,
Yeah.
that's it. It's a
nothing
wrap.
happens. Right.
Without Jesus, it's a wrap.
Yep.
So Mary gave birth to the Son
Savior of the world.
God.
Yes, Son of God.
Mary gave birth. Shout out to Mary.
Yeah, we love you.
Shout out. Shout out. Love you so much.
We love you, but we can't pray to you.
Yeah.
We could pray to Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So I just want to say that. But I've been seeing that floating around because it's a biblical thing, right? 8 billion people on the planet, and every single one of them was born from a woman because women are great.
Yes.
Women can reproduce. Men cannot.
It's
really that simple, right? It's that simple.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Hey, God made man, and God made woman.
In His image.
They're different. They're in His image, and they're different, and it's scientifically different, right? So women have an XX, and men have an XY, right? And I know I'm not a scientist, bro. There's scientists are going to see this one day because we're never taking these off of YouTube and off the
Right.
air, and they're like, well, there's 15,000 per year that this happens. All right, whatever. I'm not a scientist, bro. I just know what the Bible says, and I know men cannot reproduce, women can.
Yeah.
Empower women.
And you can't change
With-
you can't change your genitalia to change that you should have babies if you can have babies. That wouldn't be right.
Right. I mean, but hey, like I said, a woman could make herself look like a man and take some testosterone and stuff and say that she's a man and get pregnant. And then we have the pregnant guy emoji on my iPhone.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, there's a pregnant man emoji on my iPhone. You didn't know that?
No.
Listen, that's impossible. Fact check that. I don't
Wow.
care. Come at me.
Can we throw the pregnant guy emoji up on the screen?
I don't know, maybe,
With a
but
sound
I
clip?
can't.
Wow.
I just can't argue with the gospel and God. What people want to do, they want to do. I'm a Christian.
It's called choice.
Yeah,
You
I
make a
love
choice.
everybody.
Yeah.
Here's why: because we're all a work and growth and progress until the day we die and go either to heaven or hell, because that's a real thing too. People don't want to talk about hell, but you're going one place. Well, you're going heaven or hell. So I love everybody, and everybody has, like I said, moments to change like we talk about. But I am a work in progress. I am not perfect. You are a work in progress. You are not perfect. That's the whole thing. That's the Christian's mission. The Christian's mission is to say we love everybody and we're evolving. So I don't hold judgment for people. Now, are there people that I don't want to be around? For sure, 100% there are. There's people I don't want to be around. It doesn't mean I don't love them as a human being and hope and pray that they just find some goodness to change who they are.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm just going off of what the Bible states here. So big shout out to women.
Big shout out. Shout out.
So Mother's Day, man, right?
Man, yeah.
I know, like I said, we're just
My mom's awesome.
Yeah,
shout out to my moms.
my mom's.
Yeah,
Hey,
big shout
my
out.
mom is my hero. My mom taught me how to grind.
Mm-hmm.
My mom taught me that, hey, if 40 hours ain't enough, put in 50. If 50 ain't enough, put in 60. If 60 ain't enough, and it goes down the line.
Shout out to the mother of my kids. Mother of my kids, biggest shout out to her. Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. She grinds too. She works hard.
Yeah, like I said, my son's mom, but we were 16 years old.
Yeah.
And my kid's an adult. My kid's an adult now.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, shout out to her for giving me my one and only baby boy.
Bless you.
And for all the good times that were, I got full custody of my son because she came down with me, and we both walked into the courtroom together way back when, because she was moving away and she had her other kids, and she said, well, hey, listen, man, I'm moving away. If you want to keep the kid here, I got no problem. Let's go down together and make
What a blessing.
Make this an unlegal battle where we just walked in and the people down the family division were like, this doesn't happen that often. We don't know what to do. But it was really that simple. So shout out to her too. And for being there and pressing and everything else like that and not making my life totally miserable. So yeah, but my mom's my hero. I tell that to everybody. She is, man. I watched her grind, and I heard all her stories, bro. I heard all her stories. People doing the right and wrong thing. My mom always chose the right thing, and still got kind of kicked to the ground and kicked while she was down. But like I said, I mentioned it before. I always mention it. Like when I think about mom, what I think of hardworking. I think of a woman that took the bus through the projects, man, to get to work and night school and everything else like that when she was pregnant with me and my sister, and that's tough. And like I said, she would always. I still hear the stories for today. I'd be on the bus, Glenn. And grown men wouldn't even give me a seat and this and that. And I never collected unemployment. I never collected welfare. I did whatever it took. I worked harder. And even if we didn't have a lot, I clipped coupons and I saved. And I'm still wearing clothes from 1970. And I kept cars till they fell apart. Because she did. I remember she had an 83 Chevy Celebrity that was so beat up, man. It was awful. It would break down all the time to the point where, like, my friends weren't allowed to, like, go on.
I had a 1990 Celebrity, I think.
I don't know if did they make them in 1990, but I'm just saying, like, it was so beat up because my mom couldn't afford a new vehicle.
Chevy Celebrity.
Yeah, she couldn't afford a new vehicle, so, like, it would break down, and our friends weren't allowed to, like, go with us anymore because it would break down all the time. And my friends' parents were like, no, that's not safe.
Yeah. What if they brought the Chevy Celebrity back? I wonder what it would look like.
You know what? If I could find
that would be dope.
If I could find an 83, I'm gonna go buy it. And I'm gonna chrome wrap it like Jonathan's Escalade, like our pastor, like Shuttlesworth Escalade, bro.
The Celebrity rolling in the Celebrity.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop an LS in it. I'm gonna drop an LS motor and give it 1,000 horsepower. All right, hold on, we're getting off track here.
Yeah.
Hold on, women are amazing, right? So, I mean, back to all that, right? Mary, greatest woman, I think, because like I said, she gave birth to Jesus. I know. I was looking, so I scrolled through, right? I scrolled through like great women in history, great women today, and there's so many scientists. Like without them, like without these women, right? We wouldn't be where we are today. And it's like they're the ones that should be famous, but they're not. So we have we have people like the Kardashians that are famous, and,
Oh, my.
and women like that. Like, what are you doing? But there's these microbiologists and these scientists that are basically saving the human race, and you don't even know who their name is. I mean, some of the great. Remember, like Amelia Earhart?
Yeah.
Right, flew across the ocean and first one to go from Hawaii back to America or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Another one.
yeah, well,
Joan of Arc. She loved the Lord.
okay,
Joan
okay.
of Arc. Yeah, they made her look crazy in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh,
though.
yeah?
She looked super crazy.
I don't know much about. I don't know much about that.
What Joan of Arc?
I don't. Know
So
much
she
about
was like
that.
super young. She was a warrior back in medieval times, and she just led this army. She was a woman, like, which is unheard of. She like led armies. I don't know for what country. I can't remember. It's somewhere out in England, out there, Europe somewhere. But she was leading armies. But she died at 18. She got burnt at the stake for being. They said she was a witch. But she was leading armies like in her teens. Like, think of that, like a 16, 17, 18-year-old in medieval times, like armor, sword.
Yeah,
She was out there she had like the Bible memorized.
that's
So she's pretty, that was Mother Teresa.
Yeah, Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, that's one of my favorite.
I got a Rosa Parks T-shirt, and I really wish I had it on today. But
What's it say?
I got the Blessed Home Projects shirt on. I got my Blessed Home Projects.
What's a Rosa Parks? What's it have? A
Rosa
picture
Parks?
of a bus on it or something?
Well, no, it says nah, NAH, like nah. Then it says Rosa Parks, like 1940, whatever year.
Nah.
Like nah,
Like, nah, I ain't getting
because
up.
they were like, she's like, no, I ain't getting up, because she stood up. She had
It's amazing.
she had more guts than most men.
Yeah. Well, she
to
said,
stand up.
you
for
know what she says?
herself.
She says that God helped her do that.
I'm
That's
sure,
her testimony.
yeah.
She says God would not.
Because I looked at all this stuff this morning before we came into the
So that was
studio.
like a tipping point in culture that like set off the whole Malcolm X thing
Good
because
for
of a
her.
woman.
I would have
woman,
stood
yeah.
right behind her, man. Like, I mean, I guess I wasn't alive in those times, and it was a
Yeah.
whole different era. But like, hey, good for her. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing and awesome. And I think she lived like to 2005 or something like that. She was,
Yeah, I
she
don't know.
should have got more credit. Like, I think there should have been more like more education on that, and herself in like the 90s and like early 2000s before she passed away. That would have been great, because I think she was a big staple in the community. You got people, like I said, like look at Oprah Winfrey right now. Like her story is crazy. Like her childhood was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. And look what she did. Like, look how far she came and everything else like that. I mean,
Is she a Christian? Do you know? I don't know.
I'm not sure, because I've never really been like a whole huge fan of it. Like I
Right.
said, I preach about Steve Harvey all the time.
Yeah.
And like I've seen stuff with them talking and everything. So I don't know much about Oprah Winfrey besides the stuff I heard in stories from other people. But like, I just know that her childhood was awful, and she still pressed in as a troubled youth woman and just climbed up this way.
Yeah.
So there's all.
When she's
there's
like
all-
super overweight at one time, and she like started was it Weight Watchers?
I'm not sure, bro.
She did something like, I remember her being big. She was big before at one point.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying, think of Oprah Winfrey. I think a talk show, she was big,
Yeah.
and then you think of money,
So
gives away cars.
it's the thing, like we were talking about at the beginning. So at the beginning, we were talking about how on Mother's Day, a lot of people just shout out like, "Hey, on Mother's Day, fathers could be like, shout out to the fathers and the mothers too." And then on Father's Day, women will say, "Hey, shout out to all the women that are fathers." Listen, it's separate. So I want to talk about like the strengths and weaknesses. So like, all right, there is a purpose, right, for a man and a woman. It says in the Bible, it's biblical that God created man, and then he took part of man, and he created a woman.
Rib.
Yeah,
Adam's rib,
he took one of Adam's ribs. Yes, and I think most people know that. I think, but I don't know, because I think most people should know Genesis is the first book of the Bible, and people might not know that either. So I guess what's common to me is uncommon to other people.
Hey.
But anyway, yeah. So God made us in His image, and He had man, and then He gave woman to man and made woman out of part of a man so that we could coexist. It's in the Bible. I always say this in relationships. 1 + 1 = 3, right? And what does that mean? That means if you're on the same page, okay, if you're on the same page, a man and a woman together, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 = 3, which means you should play on each other's strengths and weaknesses. Whereas if, a man has these strengths, okay, and a woman doesn't, that a woman has strengths that a man doesn't, well, together they're like this instead of like this. Yeah. And the problem with society today is it's so fast paced, and like we talked about before, the social media, people need they need like vindication for their life story and their processes and troubles and everything else like that. And then they also want, you know, like their vanity, and they want to be like not idolized, but they want to feel good. They need the opposite sex. A lot of people need like the opposite sex all the time to give them like verification of who they are,
identity,
and give them some identity. But in real rap, like real terms, it's in the Bible, man. Like I said, if you just press in, like if a man presses into his woman and a woman presses into their man, okay, well then they're coming together and they're making that 1 + 1 = 3, and your life should be easier. But like I said,
are
today,
you saying 1 + 1 = 3? Like if 1 + 1 = 2, but if you're on the same page, you're almost multiplying instead of adding. So, is that what you're saying? Like,
yeah,
I wish you could get further.
I wish I had these facts in front of me, because I did read a story about horses. I don't know anything about horses, but I read a story. There's different kind of horses, right? And it said this. We'll just say this, right? I don't know the facts. Sorry, everybody. Don't come at me with the real fast. So we'll just say this horse. Say one horse could pull 5,000 pounds. So you'd be like, all right, well, if I put 2 horses in front of me, I'd be able to pull 10,000, right? That's not how it goes. Ooh. It's like it's basically like this: like one horse, and you add another one together, 5,000 plus 5,000. It's actually like 15 or 20. Like it's crazy. Like it multiplies.
The Bible says one will send 1,000 a flight, 2 will send 10,000 a flight.
Exactly.
The power of agreement.
So if you start multiplying them horses in front of your carriage, it multiplies it. But yeah, that's how it is. So I think, like I said, a lot of people today in relationships, I know we're kind of like going this way and that way, but a lot of people today in relationships, they base what they think love is off of sex, first off, attraction, sex, and having fun. Like, hey, this person is super awesome. They look good. They're attractive to me. They turn me on. And then they get with them. They're like, I like holding them. I like kissing them. I like having sex with them. I like all this other stuff. And then we go out and party, and it's a blast. And then after 6 months, a year, 2 years or whatever, the real stuff kicks in, like life goals and religion and politics and how to spend money and bills. And that starts tearing them apart, because they built their foundation on sand, not solid ground. Because sex, looks, attraction isn't what you should build a relationship off of. And then they get stuck in it, and then they have a kid, and then they get married and have a kid, whichever way it goes, and then they feel trapped, and then they have this life of misery, and the 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3 at that point.
Yeah, it's like -3.
It's like -3. Yeah, it's negative. And then they just sit there and complain and everything, when you know what? If off the gate you would have just took a little bit of time, if you would have just took a little bit of time to build better, you would have built on a solid foundation, and you have longevity for your relationship. But that's what God meant. God meant, right, for men and women to come together, and 1 + 1 = 3 to help each other, right? And it was always men were supposed to be the provider, and women were supposed to be the caregiver. That's why we're genetically made a little bit different. That's why, for the most part, like I said, men are built bigger, stronger, tougher. Women are built to nurture and care and be more along those lines, to raise children and a family and hold it down. Now, listen, when I say tougher, I get it. Women's pain threshold to give birth is higher than any pain I think a man could take. I understand that. I'm just saying basics. I don't want to have people attacking me for what I'm saying, because it's like not opinion. It's like fact.
There's some women out there I wouldn't rumble. Like, I know that they would, if I tried to fight them,
I understand that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like I said, for the most part,
I got cut by women. Tried to cut me before, slice me up, bro. I know
I mean, I want to bring this up, and I don't care, because I'm a Christian.
Yeah,
men in women's sports. So that's what I'm saying. Listen, we are genetically built differently. That is a fact. Okay, so whenever you see a man competing in a woman's sport, that totally just blows my mind.
Example.
It blows my mind.
Give me an example. Man competing in a woman's sport.
So there was this. I have all these on my phone, but there was a UFC. There was a UFC thing, and then there was the swimming thing that like made memes and made stuff publicly and everything else like that. And I'm sure that this is happening at a smaller basis around the globe
Yep.
or around America that we don't know these stories. But it's just like, LeBron, like I said, Kobe came into the league at 18. LeBron came into the league at 18. Michael Jordan actually went to North Carolina, and didn't come into the league until he was like 20 or so, somewhere around that. I get it. But so take 18-year-old Kobe or LeBron. Take 18-year-old Kobe LeBron in high school senior and let them just say, I'm a woman. And put them on the women's basketball team.
Yeah.
Is that unfair? Come on now. Mike Tyson was dropping heads when he was 17, 18.
Yeah.
I mean, people think like his career was no, his career was like late teens, right? He was young. Like he was young. So what if Mike was like, hey guys, I'm a woman, hey, and he just, is that fair or unfair?
That's unfair.
And I get, like I said, the argument is people say, oh, well, if they change their gender before puberty and all this other stuff. And listen, I'm not a scientist, but I'm just saying it's unfair that there's women that have trained their whole entire lives for the sport that they're in, whether it's running, swimming, softball, fighting, whatever. Wrestling, they train their whole entire lives, okay? And then just to have some subpar man that was taking all the L's just be like, nah, I'm a woman right now, and come in and steal that from them. How awful is that?
It's terrible.
And then I don't understand, like I said, because I'm a Christian, so everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there's like mobs of people in that community that are like, oh, you're being insensitive towards him, her, or whatever it is, right? You're being insensitive to them for chasing their dreams, and he wants to be a woman now and play sports and everything else like that. I don't get it, bro. And I know that's a whole other thing, but to any woman that's out there in the sports world, in any world that has a man that turned himself into a woman take your glory away, I feel for you. I feel for them. And they're amazing. And they're great. And I feel like they should have their day, and they should have their celebration, and they should have everything coming to them from their hard work and dedication, and not stolen away because this world's becoming so corrupt. And I stand on that because I'm a Christian and I believe the Bible. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. Like I said, I still love you guys because you're still a human being. You're still my fellow man and woman. I get it. But I know we kind of went up high and then we got into some serious stuff. But it is what it is, man. It's just how it is. So I just think, like I said, women are great. Women are amazing. Without women, there wouldn't be anybody. That's it. Point blank. Like I said, fact check that.
There would be no humans.
There wouldn't be. We would cease to exist. Without real women, we would cease to exist. That's it.
All right, strengths and weaknesses. The strongest human beings I know are women.
Well, I'm saying the pain threshold for women is just built for child labor.
I mean, there's like, I'm trying to find a way to say it, like the perseverance, the not give upness of some women that I know. Like my mom is just straight up, she's about that action.
Right.
Like there ain't no quit. Like if she would have, there's no quitting her since the beginning of time.
Yeah. And
there's a trait that women have that's like awe-inspiring, that's different. And like when you look at it, when it doesn't hit the same as a guy does. You know what I'm saying?
So for the most part, like I said, and the world, unfortunately, is filled with broken marriages, broken families, and broken relationships,
Broken
like I
people.
said,
Yep.
because we went away from the Bible. We went away from the Bible, and it's not, like I said, it's hard to say, like, people blaming people individually because we're programmed from birth. Like society, the media, it's just, they give us, right? They give us this false identity and they push us to be who we're not. And it's leaning more and more towards the evil every day, not just in this country, but the world. So that's pushing everybody away. So now women have to be 2 or 3 times as strong because they're the ones, for the most part, like I said, they're the ones that have the kids most of the time.
Spiritual.
They're the ones that have to get the kids up every morning. They're the ones that have to, pick them up from school and juggle them around their job and take them to and from daycare for the most part. And like I said, that's for the most part. I know a lot of men that are single fathers for real, where the mom is nowhere to be found at all. Seriously, I mean, my small group of friends, for the most part, 90%. I can name names, but I'm not going to say it on my podcast. But I have, because I don't have a lot of friends that I keep my circle small. And you know what? We're all like single dads.
Yeah,
we're all like single dads that had, that got their their daughter or son, and they're taking care of them. So I see what my men are going through. I also know women. I know a lot of women that, like I said, they don't even get child support or nothing like that because the dad just left, signed the rights away, and they're grinding so hard. One of my super close friends for a long time is a true single mom. She's amazing. She's beautiful. She holds it down for her daughter that's also amazing and beautiful and smart.
Is she a Christian?
Yeah.
Well, what's up, bro?
Hold on. But anyway, so she goes, she does her work, she does her extracurricular, right? She goes to the gym, she finds time for all this. She goes hunting, she goes fishing.
Dang.
You know what I mean? And she does all, and like I said, really, I mean, we've been friends with her forever, and known her daughter since she was a baby, and they're just awesome. I mean, I can name a whole bunch of names, or a whole bunch of people that I know this, and there's a lot of women out there that are listening. They're like, yeah, I'm right there, and I feel it. So it's just like I said. I think a lot of the good ones are undervalued and underrated, and until you're in their shoes, for sure, you don't understand. And that's what I mean, because I know what it's like to juggle a job and daycare and my kid and the gym and night school and everything else like that. And it's so difficult and hard. So for those women that are juggling all this, God bless them. I mean, glory to God that they can handle all that, and they deserve the world because they're the ones keeping it going. That's 100% true.